Hi everyone, Cheryl here today with Kadoodlebug Designs, and today we're going to be working with the cute little Nomi friends. It's the Easter egg hopper peeker, and this is the freebie for this week. So if you're wanting to work with this one, you can go over there to Kadoodlebugdesigns.com and get this little freebie. And this is the birthday week, so she'll be giving away freebies, and we're going to be having a hop and so forth. And so all that information is on the Kadoodlebug Facebook page. And so I could go ahead and put a link in the description box below this video. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to want to do, and I'm going to kind of keep this one low. Also, if you're watching on an iPhone or any cell phone, you'll want to make sure that you tap the screen and do full screen, because it does, I've just noticed, it cuts out the bottom part of my video. Whereas right now I'm watching and I can see everything. So I just want to make sure so you can see everything that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so the first thing is with the Kadoodlebug Designs, you do get the backing piece. And I love that piece because that helps with our placement. And so we do have that. I'm going to set that aside. And then we're going to have our egg, and we want to prep this egg and get it all ready. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Pretty in Pink. I'm just using Stampin' Up! Ink and then a dauber. And you can use, you know, whatever daubers you have or what other, you know, colors. I've prepped that pink, so I'm just going to do this one. You can come in and just do the edges, kind of get them done, or we can actually hold this down. And sometimes I like to just do a circular motion kind of coming in. And so I am on the glass with this and then just pushing in. And then you could also do the same with the edges. Sometimes with some of the pieces, I do find that that works best for me. So I've got my pinks done. So now I want to do this little inner ear piece. And you could do the same thing. If you don't want to hold this up and you want to just come in and kind of swipe or do little circular motions, you can go ahead and do that as well. And then come around the bottom. I kind of do like a little half circle around the bottom. And then same thing, you just want to do your little edges and get them as dark or as light as you'd like. And so I'm kind of doing those darker. I've already got the nose piece prepped and most of my white, but I'm going to go over that next once we do the little egg. So I've got on here, I'm going to show using just the some pins or markers. And then I do have one of the little, I think it's a little dewdrop ink. This is the pigmented ink, but I'm going to show with the markers first on this. And so what I did was just pick a darker and then a lighter color. And so the darker is the BV00, and this is a copic. But if you don't have copics, you can use Stampin' Up! Or whatever markers you have. I'm just going to hold this down, and I'm coming along the edge. And when I say I'm coming along the edge, I'm actually like drawing on the glass, but letting it just hit the edge of this. And so that way you can get your edges highlighted. And then we're going to come in and shade with that lighter color. And then if you wanted, you could, if you have a pad that is, you know, an ink pad that's close in color, you could always do that after you're done with all this if you wanted. So I'm just going to use this lighter color and just kind of come on top of that a little bit, and just to give a little shading. And so that's if you don't have ink pads that are the colors. Sometimes if I don't have colors, you know, and I really did not buy any, you know, purples or lavenders or colors like that. I think I own maybe this one and an amethyst of purple. I may have one other, but sometimes those colors don't work for what we're wanting them to. So I have to bring in pins and what I have. And so now for the egg, the same thing. We can pick 3 yellows in pins. And I do have yellow that I could use if I wanted. I usually use Barely Banana. And I think I have a really bright yellow, but I'm just going to show with doing the markers. So I am using this brighter yellow. It's a Y15 for this light egg. And I'm just going to come along the edge. And you can do it as light as you want. Like just coming in and just tapping the edge a little bit. And then you can come in. I'm using YR31. This is a little darker. And really, you're only going to see this middle part. So we don't even really need to do this entire egg. But I kind of wanted to show what it would look like. But let's see if I can. And then this is the lighter color. Even though it's bright, it looks bright here, but it is a lighter. And you can just kind of come in with that. And you could try this with your markers as well. And so, and I did the whole one, or the entire egg on the other one, and then it got all covered up. So I thought, oh, I'm not going to do that again. So now we're just going to add our pieces. I want to prep the egg first and get this ready. And so we're going to just add on this bottom piece here. And this little cutie is so cute. Okay, and then we're going to add the next one. And I think that is a little, did I do it a little crooked maybe? Sometimes when you're I'm kind of far away, so it's like what I'm seeing back here. Let's see. So, okay, super cute. This little piece, the entire piece comes together so nicely. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this. And there's not too many pieces on this like some of the other ones I've done. This one you can have together pretty quick. Okay. All right, so we have our egg prepped. I'm going to just set that aside. And so the next thing we want to do is I kind of wanted to show you how I did the white parts on this one. I did use 2 different grays. I'm using the Pumice Stone from Tim Holtz. It's a distressed ink. Sorry, you guys. And then I'm using the Starlight Silver. Of course, you know that one's my favorite. I haven't pounced it in there because it'll put too much on. I'm using leftover from my project from yesterday, and then the Pumice Stone as well. I did not want to put it in there. So just if you have a gray that's already on your little dauber, you're just going to be using what's left over on it, and that's going to give you the outline on here. And so that's pretty much all we're wanting to do with that Pumice Stone. So now with this one is going to actually give us our shading. And this one is the Starlight Silver. And this is a pigmented ink. And the other one isn't. It's one of the Tim Holtz distressed inks. So you can pounce on this one. You can pounce in. So you could take it and just pounce it in and it'll shadow it for you. Or you could kind of come in to the edge and swipe down. And so that's kind of how I do. And this, I'll want to wipe my hands after. So that's why I tried to prep. I'm just using some rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle. I want to just try to get as much of that off of my hands so it's not all over. So now we're going to go to the blues. And on the blues, I did use a marker and I used the Cool Caribbean. And then I used the BG15. And so we're going to use the marker to outline the edge. Give some nice highlighting to this edge here. And the markers are nice to come in, even if I wasn't going to use the marker and I was just using the dauber. You could always see these small areas. I love to come in with pins or markers that coordinate or are close colors to what I'm using. And so that's just a nice way to be able to come into those smaller areas that we typically can't get to with one of these little daubers. And let me see if I can grab this one I needed to load up. This one, I think I did more so holding it up, but it's a thinner paper because it is a design paper, so I'm going to have to be a little more careful when I'm distressing the edges. So just kind of come in as much as you like, and then we don't need to do the bottom on that one because it's going to be covered by this, the bottom part of the hat. And I'm just coming in again with the marker on the edge. And then this one, if you wanted, you could always hold it with some tweezers. But on my other one, I think I did it on the mat, and I actually did quite a bit on it. Okay. And so I think that's it on that. And I think everything's almost done except for we want our grass. On the grass, I'm using our green galore. I thought I grabbed certainly celery, but I didn't. And that's okay. It's a different one. So green galore is what I'm going to be using. And I'm just doing the circular motion. Hopefully you can kind of see. And I'm coming in and doing just circular. And just trying to get those edges distressed and so we're pretty much done. So now we can go ahead and kind of clean up this little bit of a mess. I'm just going to wipe this up and then spray my hands one more time. Okay, hopefully I've got everything off. Alrighty, so now we're ready to go ahead and do the layering on this. And so the first layer is going to be these ears, and I'm going to kind of show you what I did different. So I did push them out a bit, if you can see, because I wanted the ears to be seen really well. And so I'm going to show you that on here. So I didn't stick with the backing, but I did use it as a placement guide as for this. So let's see. So we'll go ahead and we're going to grab those. And I just kind of pressed them out as much as I thought I may want. Let's see if I can grab this other one. Okay. And I think that looks good. And you can always flip it over and see how much you've got. But I kind of could tell just by looking that I thought that would look cute because they were coming out like just big old floppy ears. Super cute. Okay. And then we'll get the little inner part on. You can kind of just place those however you like. I don't really think there's a wrong way to do that, you know? Okay, so if you want that up a little bit, or if you want it down a little bit, just don't want to bring it down too far. Well, I guess the head will cover it, but I'm going to kind of just bring it like so. And there. Okay. And then just press those down. So we have the ears on, and so now what I want to do is find the placement for the face. And so we're just going to take the head and see where I'm thinking that's going to go. And so a lot of times if you have a lot of pieces like this and you're not quite sure how far to come down, you could always take the egg or whatever piece and kind of place it where you think it's going to go. And then what I'll do is I'll take this head And I do want it up a little bit because his little hands are going to cover, his little paws are going to cover that. But you could always, if you're not sure, and this is maybe another little peeker, you could always just take, like, we know that goes there, and then we'll have this here and that. But this little rim will come and cover up everything else. So I think we're good on where this face is going to go. So I'm going to actually go ahead and glue that down and hopefully get it in the right place again. So I'm thinking probably right there, but let's double check and make sure we can kind of bring it up just a little bit. Okay. So I want to just get that pressed down really well. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the little cheeks on him and then the muzzle. And then let's go ahead and get this muzzle on. And it goes right about there, I think. So now I want to do the little cheek shading. I'm using Stampin' Up's chalks for this, and I'm just picking a light pink, and then I'm just going to come in and do the little cheeks right now, just to have those done. And then let me blow off. Okay. And then you can go ahead if you want to add. I added some little black dots. I like those on the little animals. I think it's just cute and something different. And then I am adding the little white dots. And I did do a couple little lines right there. Okay. So now that we've got the muzzle on and the shading done, we can go ahead and put the hat on next. And so we're going to get our hat on here. And so what I like to do is, I'm not going to try to get the glue on there. So I'll actually come and get most of it on here and then come on the hat part and get the bottom part all on. And that way it just makes it easier. So I don't have glue all over my hands. Oh, and I do have black ink right there. I'm going to have to get that off really quick, you guys. Shoot. Let's see. I don't know where that came from, but that will transfer probably on something that the pieces. Okay, let's see. So I started to lay that hat down. So we just kind of want to get it to cover as much of the edges. And if you have a little bit of the white on the edges showing, you can just come back in with your dauber or the pin and touch that up. So that's not a big deal. Okay, so we have the hat on, and now we're going to go ahead and put the bottom part of the hat on. Okay, and then his little nose and his cheeks and everything probably could have come up a tad bit on this, but that's all right. I think it still looks really cute. I may have pushed them down. I'm used to bringing the cheeks down. They probably could have just went up a little more, but that's all right. He's still really cute. Okay, so we've got the hat on. So now we want to go ahead and get our egg placed on here. And then we're almost done. There's no eyes to do on this one. I am working on an eye tutorial, so I should have that coming soon. So we're going to get his little paws, because those are going to cover that one little area that we were seeing. Whoops. I didn't want to push those down until I knew where the placement is. I think it's right about there. Oops, and this one probably could have come right about there. Okay. And we're just going to put the grass on. And so on the grass, you're going to start with this bigger piece first. And I just used a cute little polka dot paper. I like to sometimes bring in the design paper pieces. And it happened to be in my file. I had, in my green file, I had this piece left over, probably from a card that I did. And so I ended up figuring I better use it. So now we're going to put on the piece that goes right over here. And we do want to get the glue on the back of this piece. If you want, you could always use tweezers to hold them while you're putting the glue. This is the time I'm able to get the glue where it needs to be on the piece, and then a little bit on the, and then we can push that down. And then this is our last piece, and we're done. Such a cute little file. Okay, and so there we have it. So now you can come in if you want and do some highlighting. So like on my hat here, I just did some little, you know, some little marks using the paint pen. I do prefer this paint pen over the gel pens. I can't tell you how many of those I've thrown away, and these I just finally had went through. I think it was last month or the month before. I had finally went through one of these, and I've got 4 of them. So they just seem to last a long time. If you feel like it's starting to go out, you can, you know, give it a good shake, and then you press down. I think when you first get it, you have to prep it and shake it really good, and then make sure you push down several times until some of the ink comes out. So you may have to do that a couple times in the beginning, but after that, I really have not had any issues on it. And so you could add, if you want, a little bit on these little grass areas. It's really up to you. And oops, come on. And I think that's it. I think that's all I've done on there. And so I do hope you enjoyed my video today. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos, please follow. And thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.